So you are the universe. You are the universe. You create the universe around you. People will say that. They'll tell you that. They'll explain it to you that you're in control of the universe, that you decide what you see in the universe and you create it actively. But you don't really ever understand what that means or how that works on a real level, like how that actually functions. Well, here's a little exercise to kind of take you outside of yourself. So imagine for a moment that you could see through your elbow, like you had an eye on this arm, on this elbow, and you could see out of it. So try, just for a moment, like legitimately focus on trying to see out of that eye. Like picture that you have it and try and see through it. Okay, I'll do it too. Nothing, right? There's nothing. You can't. And I know that sounds funny, but stay with me. So you can't see out of it, right? You didn't even see darkness. You didn't feel darkness. You didn't feel an absence because it just wasn't there. It just didn't process because it's just not a part of your wiring. There's no wiring there to your brain that's going to relay information, visual information, right? So that's what blindness is. That's what real blindness is, or the lack of a sense, right? Like one of your senses, like your sense of sight, your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, touch. That's what the absence of a sense really means, right? And it'll make sense why I'm saying this. So everything that you experience and that you're actively experiencing right now is due to your senses and only your senses. There is no objective way in which you are experiencing reality right now. And I'll tell you why. It's because every part of your body that tells you or shows you the world around you or shows you the universe. Let's see, is my camera dirty? Every part of the world around you that you see and experience and hear and touch is only information that is relayed by these senses. So it's only the signals that your eyes tell your brain, and it's only the electrical signals that travel through your nervous system and the changes in the air that are reverberated by your eardrums that replay the sounds that you're hearing, like my voice. It's not my voice, it's your eardrums recreation of it. And you're not seeing me, you're seeing your eyes recreation of the electrical signals from your eyeballs lens, right? It takes light and it captures it in those cones, and then it processes that information, and then it has to replay it and re-simulate it, right? It redesigns and just kind of fabricates it. It fabricates it, right? So there are blind spots in your vision right now. There are certain things that you can't see, certain blots of space that are blind to you. And what your mind does is it recreates in that spot what it thinks should be there. So there are already parts of your life that are fully fabricated, like not even because it's played through your mind, but because your brain is actively showing you a false thing that it created to fill in the empty space that it can't see, right? So you are, in a sense, isolated from an objective reality, and you won't be able to actually experience in your body an objective version of the universe that everyone can agree on, that every brain can see the same, because every part of your life and your perception is redesigned and fabricated, and it's put through basically this processing system that is your brain, and it's oriented and it's changed and it's played back. So it's all simulated, and your universe, right? The universe that you live in currently right now has been created and formed through your entire life. Okay, so when people say things that you don't understand or you don't agree with, right? Like one time my science teacher in 8th grade told me that the universe dies with you. And that was horrifying. I'd never heard that before, and I was never told to really process that and imagine it as if it were true. The reason why he said that the universe dies with you is because the universe that you experience is only yours, because it's shaped, again, through those senses, those processing systems. The filter of your brain creates actively what you see and what you experience. So yes, there is no way to actually experience the outside world devoid of your interpretation of it, because your brain has to constantly interpret these things that are not direct, right? So it's electrical signals that come through that optical nerve that go into your brain. So it's not the image is projected into your brain. It's the image is taken, it's processed, fix these little dots that I can't see in, play that to my cortex of my brain that is responsible for putting that stuff together and showing me as if I were just looking through my eyes right now. So there's a delay, actually. There's a small delay. It's a short delay, right? Between a touch on your toe, that signal has to take time to travel all the way up to your brain and then be processed by your nervous system. So there is a delay in everything, in all of these things. There's a delay in your eardrum. Most of it is negligibly small. It's a small scale, right? Like milliseconds, we're talking like hundreds or like tens of milliseconds. So that's, in practice, not that much of a difference, right? Like you're not really going to be able to tell that you're seeing something as it was a few milliseconds ago, right? But something that I find interesting is that, and this is an idea that I have, and I was just thinking about to myself, is that when you meditate, maybe the reason why it feels like you kind of take a step out of that perception of the universe, maybe the reason why it kind of brings you somewhere else, somewhere kind of new, is that it kind of pushes the boundaries of that subjective reality that you experience. So that those delays, those small delays that you don't experience in your day-to-day because you're too busy, those delays, when you really focus on stillness, like stillness of the mind, stillness of your thoughts, stillness of just your body, I guess, as well, perhaps those delays feel temporally widened, right? So we have like temporal blindness, they call it. It's like our ability to understand time as if it were like just a part of our clock, right? Like if we had a clock in our head that could understand the tick of time accurately, which you can't, right? Like if you try and count, say, 10 minutes straight, if you try and just with no outside noise, sit and try and legitimately count second by second, you'll be off by the end of it. Most of the time, you'll be very far off because you're not wired to understand the ticking of time, because it's developed through consciousness. The universe doesn't have a direct tick. It doesn't like tick at a certain rate and that's it. Like it's just a solid spread of time. So the moment that you're born to the moment you die is all one tick at any scale. It's not separated day by day and second by second and minute by minute. Those are all man-made ideas that allow us to break down the day, because yes, there are these things that kind of allow us to like take time seriously, right? Like days passing and the sun rising and falling in the sky. That's what it is, right? So maybe when you try to live in that stillness and you try to really, really dive into that and process that stillness, or just live in it, perhaps those delays in your senses are widened, right? Because the slower that you move mentally, the slower you will perceive time. So if you're moving and you're rushing time is going to feel a whole lot faster. Like you could look at a clock and count it like you're rushing, and then count it like you're slow, like time is moving slowly. And because you process more information in that small amount of time, it feels longer. It feels like the tick is drawn out, right? This is why people in near-death experiences say that time slowed all the way down. They say that, and I've experienced this too, time really feels like it just goes in slow motion, just wild. It doesn't make any logical sense through the scope of our lives how that could happen. But the way it works is, as that adrenaline kicks in, you process so much information. Like your brain just starts processing more information than you could ever logically process day to day, because it's too much. It would be too much. Right? But in that moment, every second counts. So your brain says, we need to make this second last. We need to take every piece of information so we could save ourselves, right? So time is subjective as well. So maybe when you slow down your thoughts and you slow down your thinking and you process time at a slower rate, those delays in your senses become drawn out, and you start to expand beyond your subjective reality. And this is the part that I don't really understand, so I'm just piecing it together. But maybe that slow tick and that delay kind of shows you that what you see and what you feel is just you. It's just your physical body, and it's not real objective truth and real objective reality. So you kind of understand that, and you look at things a little differently, like, okay, maybe I am creating the world that I see, and maybe I am drawing incorrect conclusions from these moments of life because of my perception, processing reality and molding it into the shape that it constantly tells itself that it's going to experience, right? So when you tell yourself day to day, and this happens automatically, it happens autonomously, you start to form a bias, and that bias carries out in your life, and it will go, and this is something that Alan Watts said, is that your subconscious molds your life constantly, and until you understand it, you will call it fate. So you're constantly creating in a cycle your reality that you're experiencing right now, and you have that control to shift it and to kind of step outside of that boundary and that enclosure of subjectiveness and bias. And when you learn to reorient your beliefs and redesign the way that your mind will process reality, you start to create these big differences in just day-to-day life because of that, because you can mold the way that you decide each moment to be processed. So you have that power, and it's very interesting because it goes unnoticed constantly. And most people never step outside of that. But once you become aware of it and you try and live with that knowledge, and you try to embrace it and really embody that power and take control of it, you can really start to make changes, and you can really start to feel that you are understanding more about the world around you. And I find that to be very enthralling and pure. I feel like that, if anything, is one of the greatest things in life, is understanding that you have the power to change it, and the unlimited power could change everything. Even just the way that you look at something can completely change in a matter of weeks, because you redesign the way that you process your reality. And this is what everybody talks about. This is manifestation. This is this is perception. This is meditation, all that stuff is all, yeah, I mean, reality is formed through your mind, you know? Little bit of a, not even a ramble, actually. I don't even think I got off track once during that, which is pretty crazy because I tend to linger when I talk. But this is, I'm going to post this because I'm starting to realize that the things that I tell myself will only hold myself back, right? And if I tell myself that people won't resonate with this, then they won't. And if I tell myself that you will resonate with this, maybe you will, and that'll make me happy. So have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu discussion. And yeah, stay aware and stay conscious of your consciousness.